Okay, so I was asked by this brand if I would take a look at their Facebook page and give them some feedback. So this is Blessed State of Mind. And the two most important parts when you come on somebody's Facebook page is their profile pic and their cover photo. So when I first come on this page, I see that the logo is their profile pic, which most brands do this, most companies do this. But I think if you want to hone in a little bit more on your target market, you can make this your logo smaller, and then maybe add some of your models in here too, so that way when your target audience comes on this page or someone sees you in the feed, they'll know like what you stand for. Because just hearing the name Blessed State of Mind, you wouldn't necessarily think fashion just from seeing this part of it. So if you want to maybe hone in a little bit better, I would make this, if you insist on keeping the logo there, make it smaller, but add like some of your models in this picture as well. Because you don't really have to, I know I even do it on my page, but you don't really have to use your logo. Most people do, but I think because you have your name here and it's here, you don't have to repeat it. You can just use that space to kind of put a picture that will resonate with your target audience or your target market. And let's see, and now looking at the cover photo, I think this is actually pretty good. So by just looking at this page, I'm going to assume that your target market is Christian millennials and more of the younger millennials because of some of the sayings and because of the bandanas. I'm going to assume that they're millennials. Now, the only thing I would add to maybe this first graphic is like your tagline or something up here. Put it somewhere so that when people see it, they'll know what it's about. Like it's about fashion. I think when I went on your website, it was a nice tagline that I saw. I think adding that somewhere in here with these pictures is good. Because the whole key to having a successful Facebook page is using these two pieces of real estate, this cover area and then your profile pic. You want this to be where if someone is just scrolling through the feed, especially if it's your target market, it's something that they can identify with. So I think this is pretty good. I would just add maybe the tagline. And if you look at someone in like Stephen Furtick's page, he does real good with his cover photo. So kind of look at that to get an idea of what I mean when I said to add like your tagline and some text. And again, if you want to hone in a little bit more on your target market, I think making this maybe smaller and then adding like some models like next to it, so that when from the news feed, if I see this in passing, I know that this involves fashion and Christian t-shirts. So otherwise, I think that's good. Now I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. I think this is good and important how you have your story here, because a lot of people don't know that, but this is used for like Google and meta tags and metadata SEO. Like all of this is used for people to find you on Google. So I think this is good that you have this filled out. Let's see. Now let's look at some of your content. Okay, so this you're promoting for Cyber Monday. I get that. One thing I want to say is whenever you stick a link, your reach is going to go down on Facebook whenever you stick a link, which is totally normal because we want people to come to our traffic. But I would give them a direct call to action. Like this link, if I click it, is going to take me to your website. It's not going to take me to a specific page of where I want them to be. So like, let's say you had a collection that's just for Cyber Monday. You might want to put that link here instead of sending people to your homepage, because when you send people to your homepage, they get confused. You want to make sure it's a direct call to action. So let's say you had a specific, like let's say there was just this shirt in this picture. You wouldn't want to send that person to, you wouldn't want to put this link. You would want to put the exact link to this picture. So just make sure when you're using call to actions that they're really specific. Let's see what else. You never want to put YouTube links on Facebook. Facebook does not like YouTube. Facebook wants to keep people on their platform as long as they can. So whenever you stick a YouTube link in there, it's not going to get any reach. So that's just a little tip. You might, well, I don't know if there's a way to maybe share from Mary's page or something like that, like if they have the actual video. But in the future, don't ever put YouTube links, because they don't get any reach. Facebook does not like YouTube, because Facebook is trying to grow in the video arena, so they don't want people to leave their platform, which is understandable. And I'm just going to scroll down some more and see what other types of posts that you have. Your harvest doesn't come with a few tears. Okay, that's fine. I would do some I would make one thing I want to point out. I would look at your Facebook insights and see what time your audience is online. I would definitely look at that, because if your audience isn't online at 12:13 a.m., you don't want to do posts around that time. So you may be up at that time, but look in your insights and see the time of day when the most people from who are connected to your page are on. Okay, I think this is good. This definitely should relate to your target market. Okay, that's getting people for Small Business Saturday. Okay. And I also think you should be aware that you should have an 80-20 rule, where meaning 80% of your content should be giving value to your target market or your customers, and 20% should be sales. So just be mindful not to post too many links back to back. I know that, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, one of your goals or your main goal is to sell, but you want to make sure that you're giving people value. We see how this one doesn't have a link, and it's talking about, something that your audience relates to, and you got 9 likes on that. That's more engagement than you got on some of the other content. So you want to just make sure you have a mixture of content. And here's another one. I would just make sure that you you send them to a specific landing page, or have a specific call to action. This one's a little too broad. It's just going to send them to your whole page, and your bounce rate will be higher, because people are going to be like, okay, what if I come on here and I see this shirt and I'm like, wow, I like this shirt, and I go to your home page and it's not there. So I send them exactly where you want them to go. So I would just be mindful of that. And same thing here. So what I would start doing is, like, instead of doing like so many collages, I would just do one picture at a time and kind of focus on that one picture. And I think you need to also work on telling a story. Why should people buy your products? What is it about? What makes your products different from all the other Christian brands out there? Okay, let me see this one. I know this says link in bio, so I'm going to assume that you're rolling over the same content from Instagram to Facebook. I always tell people, like a lot of my clients, to just treat Instagram and Facebook as separate entities and separate platforms, because here, link in bio is not really relevant to Facebook. So, and I think sometimes, and I'm still going to test this theory, but I think sometimes when you have it set up to post on both platforms, your engagement is lower. Like, even though Facebook owns Instagram, they're still separate entities. So I would just be cautious about that, or look into that, check that out. And this one is talking about IG right here. So yeah, this probably did good on IG, but on Facebook, it probably hasn't gotten much engagement. And I also think, like, I see you share other people's stuff, which is great. I also think it's important to know who your audience is, so you can talk to them and not always sell to them. Like, you want to be able to establish a relationship with them. So think about some of the content that people who are your audience, like, let's say your audience is millennials, and it's a certain age bracket. What kind of content besides your products are they interested in? What else can you do to uplift, inspire, to get them engaged? Even ask questions on your page to kind of create some conversation and have people responding back to you. Like, do a post where you ask a question, do something that's thought-provoking, do something that's challenging. Like, even this one has more engagement than some of your other ones, because there's no links, and then people can relate to, for every mountain you brought me over. So Yeah, those are some things I would think about when posting and scheduling content. Okay, so this is another one. I would just be careful with the link in bio. Like if that works on Instagram, keep that on Instagram. Here, I think you should kind of tell a different story. Like what in this moment would make me want to buy this shirt? Like what about blessed vibes only? Like, you have to kind of think outside of the box. Think outside of what everybody else is doing, because everybody else is trying to sell. You want to do more than sell. You want to engage your audience. You want to build a relationship with your audience, so that way you get to a point where you don't even have to try hard to sell. You can post something, you're telling a story here, and they'll buy into it because you've already built that relationship with them. So kind of think about your pictures. Your pictures are good, by the way. Kind of think about like the messages and what you want to say to people. Like, give me a reason why I should buy this shirt. Like, besides it saying blessed vibes only, like, what's the story behind the shirt? So that's something you want to think about too. But otherwise, I think you're on the right track. I just think you could fine tune it a couple of things. I think treating Instagram and Facebook as separate entities will help. I also think in this area, some of your like pages, you need to like pages that's inside of like your niche, like things that's people that sell similar to what you sell. Even if it's a Christian jewelry, Christian bloggers, get like those pages as well, so they can show up here, because that way when Facebook recommends your page, you'll come up for like Christian brands and Christian t-shirts. And you also, I think it's a good idea for you to get more engagement on both platforms, link up with some influencers, like maybe some Christian bloggers or someone that's relevant to who already has an influence with your target market, and do things with them. Like maybe I don't know, send a t-shirt to a known Christian influencer or blogger and let them wear it, and kind of talk, or let them do a review on your shirt, something like that. So that way you're building community and relationship, because it's not about competition. Like you want to be able to have people in your niche that you can do, you can connect with and do things with. Like maybe there's somebody that sells Christian apparel, but they sell maybe, I don't know, leggings or sweatpants or something, or hoodies or something, like something that complements what you sell. And you can, come together and just kind of, help each other build the platform. So I think everything else is good. Like you have really good content. I think just honing down, less posting of some of your the links. I know that this is the time of year where people are buying, but to be more effective, you need to make sure that it goes directly to the page that you want them to go to, and that you want to be specific in your call to action, and you want to try to tell a story. So maybe do some research on, or even if you let me know who your target market is, because I know from looking at it, I'm thinking younger Christian millennials, but I could be wrong. And once you know who your target audience is, it's easier to create content for them. Look at some of what other people are doing who are in similar niches, like some of the content. I'm not saying go copy them, but look at some of the storytelling that they're doing, even in people that's not really in your niche. Like look at some of the brands that tell stories when they're posting on social media. So I hope that helped. I think this is really good. I would just add in that tagline that I saw on your website. Let me see if I could find it really quickly. I seen it when I was browsing. This right here: a brand, a lifestyle, a movement, a mindset. I think you should take that and add that to your cover photo somewhere up in here, somewhere in a nice bold font where you can see it. And then I think if you want to hone in a little bit more on your profile pic, maybe make your logo smaller and just take some of your models and add them to the picture. So that way, if I'm scrolling and I don't see this part of it, I see this, and I'll be like, okay, well, now I know they sell shirts. So, because just looking at the name, you're not really going to tell what they sell. So I hope that helps.